here I am, out on the streets with my head in my hands. I've got no plans, only to see you again. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I like being kicked on the ground. I'm not that strong, but then I come to my senses. Yeah! I'm coming, you can feel my power. And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel don't be afraid. Don't do that man with the scar on his face. It's a charade. It's just the way you've been living. Yeah! I'm coming. You can feel my power. And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel what is real when she feels me. Yeah. And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel what is real when she feels me. Yeah. And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel what is real when she feels me. Yeah. And I
Hi everyone, Dan here, and I just wanted to put a little snippet about AstroWorld and what we do because I want to start getting the word out because I think it's becoming more and more of a giant community, and I want to get the word out to some other people. So what we do at AstroWorld is We hold astrophotography chats on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. and Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we just talk astrophotography. Wednesday's more of a techie kind of advanced intermediate, and Fridays is more of a newbie kind of thing. So if you want to check us out, and if you want to, hang out with some semi-decent people that like to go off the rails a little bit and have fun while they're doing it, come check us out at astroworldweb.com. And you can check out the schedule, and you can sign up for all the free giveaways that we do. We just gave away an Eagle 4 Pro, an Optilong filter kit, Charles Brackenstein's books, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So come to astroworldweb.com, hang out with us, have a good time, and as always, remember to keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
All right. Where did my color go? Got your head in the sand. You can't be in control using a powerful hand. I wanna be you, I wanna see you. Don't taste the kisses of hate. Don't try to tell me, don't try to sell me, don't try to say it's too late. You're gonna push me to the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, hide a little color, it's black and white and blue. Black and white and blue, yeah. All right. Cat learns to ring a bell. Rat gets free from the maze. We can be taught to love. We've got to learn the way. I wanna see you, I wanna be you. Don't taste the kisses of hate. Don't try to tell me, don't try to sell me, don't try to say it's too late. You're gonna push me to the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, add a little color, it's black and white and blue. Black and white and blue, yeah. I wanna be, I wanna see, don't taste the kisses of hate. Don't try to tell me, don't try to sell me, don't try to say it's too late. Push me to the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, hide a little color, it's black and white and blue. Yeah, black and white and blue. You're going black and white on the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, hide
on my telescope now. Get what's wrong with this thing?
The lost Lone Ranger, can I break this spell?
Hello, everybody. We are here tonight, and we made it again for the week before StarFest. I can't believe how fast this is coming up. We've been talking about this for weeks here. So we're here tonight with Malcom Park from NYAA, who is in the organization that runs StarFest in Canada. And we're going to be doing a little bit of an overview of StarFest. And welcome, Malcom. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks very much. I'm very excited to be here. Thanks.
You know, it's all, you know, I'm super excited because it's like I told you offline. I mean, it's going to be my first time imaging outside the continental U.S. I've never taken any image off U.S. soil, so I won't be off the continent. Well, hopefully that'll happen soon. But I mean, you know, eventually, I'll get my scared butt on a plane and go somewhere nice. I swear, I had a dream about, actually, we were talking about Dylan O'Donnell before. I had a dream about actually going to Byron Bay and imaging with Dylan, but it's kind of funny. But
well, now that would be like epic.
That would be crazy, right?
Yeah,
you know,
that would be nuts.
Yeah.
But I can't drive there. That's the problem. So
no, you cannot.
You know, I actually did that once. I actually tried to do driving directions to Paris, France. And it told me to jump in the ocean and swim like 9,000 miles or something like that. It's something crazy. It said drive to California, jump in the ocean, and swim like 500 miles, and get back in your car and drive. But I think it was a joke for a while. But so what? Everybody, thank you for coming and hanging out with us. Shawn will probably be joining us a little bit later tonight. So he's running a little late. So. Before we get started, though, we do have to give heads up to our sponsors and to our members that actually support us and you know, to everybody. So thank you so much. Let's just do that really quick because we are giving away a $50 gift certificate to AstroWorld Telescopes tonight, the first one that we're doing on the show. So here we go really quick. And so for those of you that are new to the show, welcome to the show. We do guests every once in a while. And tonight we have Malcom from NYAA and StarFest. And we're allowed to do this and give away all this good stuff because of our sponsors. And our first sponsor is Woodland Hills Camera and Telescopes, who gives us some cash to give away for every once in a while. We give out a gift certificate to Woodland Hills. And if you want to be involved in any of the forthcoming giveaways, go to our website at astroweb.com and you can sign up for all the giveaways. And just be careful. You just got to sign up for every one of them. So Woodland Hills, thank you so much. At our Red Giant level, we have Prima Luce, Camera Concepts, and Optolong. I just spoke to my contact over at Optolong, and it looks like they're going to be coming through with some more giveaways for us. So be on the lookout for when we give them away. And Prima Luce Lab, thank you so much as well. At our Super Giant level, every Friday night, we give away a free Masters of PixInsight workshop. Every Friday. We've been doing this for almost 2 years now. Every Friday night, we give it away. So we have something like 160 people on the wheel, and it's kind of crazy. So go and sign up for it. We also give away, every year, we give away 12 IP for AP yearly subscriptions. And we do it every month, once a month, and until they tell me I can't do it anymore, which I don't think they will. You know, it's really cool. So thank you to Masters of PixInsight and Warren and Pete and Ron. So thank you so much. And now, of course, at the Supergiant level, we have us. So we're going to be giving away $50 gift certificates every month. Every second Wednesday of the month, we'll be giving away $50 gift certificates to our store at AstroWorldTelescopes.com. And if you want to give me a call, there's my number and my email. So there you go. We have a lot of member sponsors. We have almost 60 through YouTube and Patreon. So thank you to everybody.
It's amazing.
That's amazing. It really is. We have almost 60 members across the board. So thank you so much for all your support. It's really humbling, and I can't say thank you enough. But our Off the Rails members, Shawn, who was our first Off the Rails member, Bob and John G. Quasar member. We have like 6 different levels because we're on 3 different platforms. So I do apologize, but I think it's important that everybody gets a little perk and hear their name on YouTube. Dr. Hassan and Chris, Black Hole members, Charity, George, Mike, Dave, Dan, and Tom. Then we go to our Red Giant members. I think I fixed everything that's there. So I apologize if there were some changes, but main sequence members, we have a ton. White Dwarf and Protostar, thank you so much. Appreciate everything. Coming up soon, we have, I changed it from July to be announced. So hopefully it's sooner rather than later. She's actually getting ready for college, but she's really super excited to come and join us on this. Helena Cochran from Helena's Astrophotography. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And coming soon as he releases his version 2.0, we'll be having Mabula Haverkamp coming from AstroPixel Processor, going to be giving us a down low on what the new additions and new features are of APP 2.0. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm going to be really excited for that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I started using that just a couple of months ago, and I'm just loving that software.
Yeah, it's really a different way to do things, you know, if you're used to other ways. But I mean, it's really quite functional. It's really pretty cool. And Eric's been kicking me in the teeth to say, you got to use it. You got to use it. At least use it to stack your pictures. It's so much easier. So, I mean, so it's like, I'm slowly morphing my workflow into that probably eventually sometime. but
Right.
And don't forget to join us on all of our other social media platforms. We have 130 people on a Discord channel, which is really super awesome. We got over 1,500 on all the other social media platforms, and we have a whopping, Eric, we broke 30 members on Twitch. And you know,
a whole 30.
I remember we were like 3 for a while, but 30 members on Twitch. And for those of you who don't know what Twitch is really for gaming. It's a gaming platform, and it's kind of like a thing for gamers. You know, people watch Roblox and stuff like that, and we got 30 members on that. So, but we also have, thank you also to the 1,900 odd people that watch us on YouTube as well. So thank you so much for that. And that being said, we're going to go back to the normal screen here.
Yep.
There we go. And now we got Malcolm Park. Welcome again. Thank you for dealing with my 5 or 6 minute spiel there. But thank you for coming and joining us. I know it was kind of short notice, but I mean, I'm looking forward to finding out what you guys have in store up there, because it'll be my first time going up there. So why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and the NYAA and StarFest?
Sure, thank you. You know, it's a pleasure to be in an environment with like-minded souls. So even though we've never met in person, we will meet in a week and a half or so, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I have a screen to share if I can do that, and then I'll include some of those things you were asking about in my slides.
I think there's a little, little
first time
on the bottom.
Yes, toggle screen sharing.
Yep, that's it.
So my tricky bit is I have a PowerPoint slideshow and 2 screens, and it tends to often hide everything when you launch it, but let's see what happens here.
All right.
Slideshow from the beginning, and yes, of course.
That's all right.
Okay. So now I've got you back, and hopefully it'll let me select the screen that I want to share.
Yeah, it should allow you to do that.
Select a tab, window. Okay, and I'll share. Okay,
perfect.
Good. So yeah, StarFest. We've been there has been a StarFest of some kind since 1982. This is our 40th StarFest this year, and if you do the math, that doesn't work, and we can thank COVID for that. But we are celebrating 40. StarFest is Canada's largest annual amateur astronomy conference and star party. There are a couple of other star parties across the country, lots of amateur astronomers and people with interest in the night sky. We just happen to be close to Toronto. So that gives us the opportunity to attract more people. But we're also on social media. We're on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Facebook and Instagram with the same handle. It's at NYAA StarFest if you want to follow us. Just a brief note about myself. I am a past president of the North York Astronomical Association, and I'm currently vice president. And you know how it goes in amateur astronomy clubs. We kind of cycle through these roles. And I'm currently vice president and the co-leader of StarFest. And that's a picture of me down at San Pedro de Atacama a few years ago, looking the southern Milky Way. StarFest is run by a group of amateurs, and this is a random photo I picked from our prep party that we call the stuffing party, which is basically in advance of StarFest. We put together everyone's registration kits that's pre-registered online. And, we're just regular folks like you with a passion for amateur astronomy. Some people, like the guy in the lower left there in the glasses, are into telescope making. Others are into astrophotography, like myself. Some of the people in this photo are wives, and they just like to hang out with us. So, just to give you an idea of, the club, to demystify what's going on behind the scenes in the NYAA. It's really just an amateur astronomy association, like most amateur clubs across the continent. StarFest itself is a camping weekend, sometimes extended by people. I'm personally going to be up there on Monday and camp for the whole week until Sunday. And as far as where it is, it's about a 2-hour drive north and west of Toronto. We have a 2-day program of presentations on Friday and Saturday. Camping style, we have trailer sites, but it's mostly tent camping, and we call it general admission. Basically, it's a wide open field with a great view of the night sky anywhere. You park and you just pick a spot that you like and set up your tent, park on the field, and that's it. We have washrooms, showers, and a pool if it's warm enough, depending on the time of year. Sometimes August gets a little chilly at the end of August, but this year we're looking like we're going to be nice, pretty warm. And we have vendors that contribute door prizes, speaker sponsorships, imaging contest sponsorship. Some of the vendors set up a booth, and their support is greatly appreciated. This is just a list of, to give you an idea of the sponsors that are part of our event this year. You can see AstroWorld Telescopes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We also have Visible Dark on there, and Shawn knows we are grateful for all the support. And so some of these are going to be door prize contributors. Some of them are sponsoring aspects of the program. We have keynote speaker sponsors and an imaging contest sponsor, and that's Skywatcher. So to introduce you to StarFest, the grounds, we have a member who lives nearby and is a pilot of a fixed wing propeller old school. I can't remember the kind of aircraft it is, but it really does look rickety. But anyways, every once in a while, he flies over StarFest and gives us a nice aerial photo like this. Can you see my mouse moving?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So one thing that you can quickly, for me, it was easy for me. I could discern what was going on at the moment that this photo was taken. And if you look down here, that's a basketball court. And that basketball court has a lot of people on it. Well, that's where we hold our swap meet. So at the moment that this guy was flying over, we're taking his picture, the swap meet was going on. The main entrance is up here at the top.
Okay.
All of the area trailers in this area are trailer sites that have been rented by attendees. And then there's some more trailer sites down here. But basically, all of the other things around here are seasonal campers. And the tents are all set up in this area here. All the presentations are held in this big white tent here and in this building here. The main program is in the white tent here. And this is the pool that I mentioned, and then washrooms and change room and stuff like that in there. And of course, it looks a lot different at ground level. When you're at ground level, when you look out, this is in the morning, it's just it looks like a sea of tents. And you can see everyone has astronomical equipment set up and stuff like that. Things to do at StarFest. Some of the activities, most of the activities include night sky observing and imaging, which is the primary activity. We have astronomy presentations in the two venues. We have something called KidFest, which is for the young ones to give them an activity for a couple of hours. We have a group photo this year, which is something we do on special occasions. This is this being the 40th. We have the imaging competition, excuse me, which really means we present the images after they've been judged. All of the submissions were received in July, and a panel of judges scored them, and the results are what we get on Saturday night. And then prizes for the imaging competition have been provided by Skywatcher for this purpose only. And then we have separately door prizes, which anyone that has registered will be in the, basically we pull labels out of a bin and hand them out that way. We have a night sky tour on Friday and Saturday nights at about 10 p.m. And a member of the group or a guest is invited to give people basically a kind of like a planetarium tour. If you're new to the hobby or to stargazing, that's something that a lot of people enjoy. And then we have some workshops. We have a solar filter construction workshop, which is bearing in mind that we have eclipses coming up. I believe there's an annular eclipse, and then next year's big one, the total solar eclipse. I think it's April the 8th. So we wanted people to get the opportunity to build with Bader film. I believe we're using anything from a filter for your lens or up to a lens for your optics for your telescope. We have a Pix and Sight workshop. We have a swap table, as I mentioned. And then we have a movie on a projector in the smaller rec hall. Often the kids like that. And then Saturday night we have a banquet, which is it's buffet style, but people like to sit with their friends, sometimes bring a bottle of wine or something like that, and enjoy this Saturday night banquet. StarFest, where are we? Well, I hope you have a good idea of Southern Ontario. So here is basically from Midtown, Yonge and Eglinton to the campground, which is called River Place Campground. It's approximately a 2-hour drive.
Okay.
The vast majority of the people who attend StarFest come from here, but I actually live further east out towards Kingston. I'm originally from Toronto, though, so that's where my association begins. If you're coming from Buffalo, approximately 3 hours from the border crossing up to the River Place. And not to be left out, the people in Michigan come too. There's about a 2.5 hour drive from Sarnia up to River Place. Excuse me, I gotta take a sip.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I was actually looking at the distance. If I ever wanted to do this at some point, for me, it's 9 hours coming from just outside of Chicago.
It's the same as me. Same as me.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Eh? Is that where you are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just northwest of Chicago.
Maybe my next slide. So, you know, there's so much light pollution everywhere. Like, it's just inescapable. But we do have this little oasis here where that red dot is. Those little sort of this right angle of light pollution here, those are the little light domes that we get up at StarFest that you notice. But you know, we're Bortle 4, 3.5, 4 kind of.
Okay.
And you don't really notice those light domes when you're looking up at the Milky Way, when you're watching Perseids, or just generally speaking, looking through telescope eyepieces. It's just we can't complain. 2 hours from this monstrosity of light pollution to this it's really kind of cool. So, like, this is an example of the StarFest night sky. I took this a couple of years ago when we were fortunate enough to have an aurora, which obviously can happen at any time. But you can see that the Milky Way comes through quite easily. It's a single exposure, 8mm lens, f3.5, maybe 20 seconds untracked. You know what I mean? Like, just popped it on a tripod.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so the sky is pretty good. You can see, you know, here there's a little bit of a light dome here, a little bit of a light dome here and here. Those are the ones I think that I was mentioning on the light pollution map. But otherwise, I mean, that's doable, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the main tent area. This is where vendors will set up, and it shows that just a little bit more of the feel for StarFest when it's up and running. Another commercial exhibitor that we've had in the past was Norman Fulham.
Yeah.
And it was pretty close to a 1 meter telescope. I think it's kind of crazy. Yeah, so that's kind of stuff you see at StarFest. So this is what it's like in the main tent. The main tent holds 500 or 600 people. And we put this stage together ourselves. We put it in storage over the winter. We have a shed. We bring it all down. So in the week before StarFest, we're setting all this stuff up. And then Thursday, we're up and running and ready to go. On Saturday night, we convert that auditorium style setup into a banquet style setup. And you can see the lineup at the back of the room. And this is basically our Saturday night banquet, which is a lot of fun. It's good food, good times. And then once that's over, we go back to the auditorium style seating, and so we have to take all this down, put the chairs back up again.
It's a lot of work.
Get it ready to go. Yeah, but you know what? Like, it's amazing how efficient it is. Everyone pitches in and helps, right? Like,
That's awesome.
It's kind of cool. Yeah. This is what KidFest has looked like in the past over the years. Different people have been involved over time. I think it tends to sort of follow with who's in their family years as a family. You know, they tend to be the ones that like to get involved with this. So if they've got young ones, they're likely to want to be one of the people that helps out with KidFest. But it's well attended. And here's an example of one of our group photos from 2011. 30th anniversary. Swap meet, again, this one was indoors because it might have been probably was inclement outside. And then this is a collage of you know, all kinds of stuff. Some guys selling an actual old Schmidt Cassegrain.
Nice.
It's usually buyer as is, sold as is, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
All kinds of stuff. Sorry.
Nope. Go ahead.
Okay. So I bought a couple of slides with just the presentation to give you an idea of what time of day it begins and who is on the program. We have perspectives on amateur telescope making in the morning and Astronomy 101 starting out right in astronomy. And then we have, this is in the rec hall, we have Prettiest Pixels Around using PixInsight to Diagnose, Develop, and Dazzle by Ryan Fraser. And then the next workshop is the Solar Filter Construction Workshop. And on the in the main tent are talks. We have, this one was just added to the program today, Michael Fick on the radio. He's got a radio telescope that's not ALMA. I don't have the full title on that one, but it should be interesting. Product development in from napkin to realty. You guys know Kevin Lagore, right?
Yep.
And astrophotography in the city by Ben Law. And it's a golden age for backyard astronomy. Wayne Parker from Skyshed.
Skyshed, sure.
Yep. And then in the evening, our keynote presentations. There's our sponsored keynote presentations. Shedding Light on Dark Matter, Neutrinos and the Missing Mass in the Universe. A Particle Physics Approach by Dr. Tony Noble. And then the Great North American Eclipse of 2024 by Mr. Eclipse himself, Fred Espenak.
Nice.
And on Saturday, Fred is giving a talk on how to image the solar eclipse in the morning at 10:30. And then that talk will end, but he will continue, and he's brought some books for signing. So if you want any of his eclipse books that have anything to do with the current or past eclipses, I think he has 5 or 6 books that he's bringing with him. And then we have the afternoon program. The lunch break is just to denote that there's a break, but Canada's providing a lunar rover in a future lunar mission, and so we have Perry Edmondson to talk about how that's going to play out. Andrea Jerome, do you know Andrea?
No,
maybe not.
I don't.
Deep Sky, Wide Field planetary imaging with only one telescope. There is one scope that can do it all. That's her talk. And then the rec hall, we have another workshop. This is on it's on Nina in general and Indy, but you know, he specified automated dual scope imaging and sequencing, but it's not going to be just that. So he's going to talk about Indy, and it's I think it's 2 hours. So all of our workshops are 2 hours. We have the banquet in the evening. Then I'm sure you guys remember Terrence Dickinson. He just passed away recently.
Yep, unfortunate, yeah.
A huge contributor to StarFest in the 90s and early 2000s. I think we counted the number of presentations he made to StarFest over that time to be somewhere between 15 and 20. And yeah, so we have a tribute prepared for him. And then our keynote speaker is Dr. Katie Mack, and she'll be talking on a map of cosmic time. Following that, we have our imaging contest results and door prizes. And Saturday night is really the main, that 7 to 8 time slot.
Yep.
You don't want to miss. So just wrap up, a couple of photos I've taken at StarFest. You know, Saturday night really is, we have the program, and then at the end of the program, we finish at about 9:30. It's twilight. You step outside, crystal clear, beautiful sky, and you go back to your telescopes, and everyone's just really, you know, we're pumped for a good night of astro imaging or visual observing, and it's so much fun. Sometimes we get aurora at StarFest, as mentioned. I took this image a few years ago. That's my friend Gary. he asked for a copy of this to make his screensaver on his computer. But that was just such a beautiful night. So at StarFest, you never know who you will run into. You might run into Ron wearing one of his fancy shirts, Fred Espenek, Mr. Eclipse. You might run into Shawn or Trevor. You never know.
Or his wife, or Trevor's wife in the background.
Yeah, there's like in the background there.
Sorry, I went through that one quickly. And so, if you want information about StarFest, if you're curious, if you think it's something that you'd maybe like to attend, here's the website, www.nyaa.ca/starfest.html. The event is August 17th, 20th. NYAA.ca/starfest.html.
I'm just putting in the
and the official program dates are 17th to 20th, which is next week. But we are booking. Registration will have to be taken on arrival now, but it's fine to show up early if you're interested in doing this.
Nice.
So if you have any questions, I mean, you want to bounce anything off me. If I left anything, uncertain for you, let me know. Happy to answer. But
let me switch it back to.
Yeah, let's take a look and see if there's anything in the chat here and from our viewer members.
And you actually have to toggle off the screen sharing just once. There you go. Perfect. Awesome. So I actually have a question, considering that, I'm under the assumption that the Star Party etiquette is basically the same, but is there anything that going up there that I need to be aware of, that do's and do nots at a Star Party, let's say?
Right. Well, it's probably the same rules that you would expect as maybe the Texas Star Party or the Grand Canyon or others. But primarily, the biggest irritant, I think, as an experienced person at StarFest, is that people aren't aware of the impact that lights at night can have. And we encourage people to get to know how their interior and exterior lights are controlled on their vehicles before they go, especially if they're new. Because if you open your car door and your headlights shine in somebody's eyes that have dark adapted for a couple of hours, and they're not going to be able to see that contrast and detail that they were just enjoying. And so I hope that I'm able to inform the people that haven't been there before of the importance of controlling the lights in your car and preventing them from coming on. So when when people arrive at StarFest, we actually have a table with scissors and tape and red material that you can place over your interior lights. If you're not sure how to turn them off, you can at least limit the effect that would happen if they come on. But we prefer, we don't want drones. We prefer not to see lasers. Otherwise, it's just basic. I think it's common sense. It's a Star Party, so do Star Party things.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because it's funny because I know some parties. Like I just came from Nebraska. I drove to the Nebraska Star Party last month, and that was a drive. I mean, that was literally over 10 days. I think
wow, yeah, that would be 20 hours or so,
something like that. Yeah, about 20. Well, we made a whole trip out of it. We did a whole bunch of stuff and everything, but it was interesting what the Nebraska Star Party kind of allowed that many Star Parties. I've gone to a lot of Star Parties up and down the East Coast. I haven't made Winter Star Party yet, but I've made all the way up to the north in Vermont and all the way to the south in Georgia, and then to the west, obviously Nebraska, and I hit Cherry Springs all the time, which is in Pennsylvania. But it was interesting, and I guess Nebraska Star Party is kind of geared towards like the newer class of people, like newbie kind of stuff. And there's still your seasoned astrophotographers and stuff like that, but it just seems that usually in a star party, I'm so used to more of the seasoned people there, the diehards that go to these star parties. But in Nebraska, I saw just the opposite. I saw a lot of new people asking questions as opposed to older or more seasoned type of astro imagers or visual observers.
My observation in the lead up to StarFest this year, in particular the conversations on our Facebook group, and in the number of registrations that we received so far, I think there are going to be more newcomers this year than we've ever seen before. That's my gut feeling. But we do have people who have been supporting StarFest for decades. So there's a mix. There's a lot of people that come back year after year after year, and I think when we look at it this year, I think we're going to see a lot of new people. And it's exciting to see because, the people are starting to look up at the night sky and ask, how do I see more, or where do I go to, get some help with that? And star parties seem to be a good solution for it.
Sorry about that. I just blanked everybody out for a second.
I'm personally looking forward to having my first opportunity at a star party later on this year.
Yay! First star party.
In October. Yeah, my first star party in October. Gonna be kind of close, but close to home. But we're heading to the Illinois Dark Skies Star Party. Something small first, and then venture.
I'm telling you, I can't believe it's taken you so long to go to your first star party, because you're younger than me, but you're not that much younger than me. But it's amazing to me that that you have yet to be at any sort of star party ever. It's I've been going to them since like the 90s.
I know. I just I've only really gotten back into this like for 6 years ago. So
fair enough.
And then also, life, living in the city, you don't think about astronomy or anything like that a lot of times, especially if you're living in an urban area. It's one of those things that not a lot of people think about because it's such bad light pollution and everything. I mean, when you look up at the sky, you only really see the moon and then the planets, right? You don't really see any real stars or any constellations or anything like that. So it's one of those things that maybe for a lot of people, when I was younger, it wasn't one of those things, being in Chicago, but you change, you evolve and stuff like that. And it's going to be exciting though.
Well, in all, I mean, being from one of the worst light polluted skies, at least, on North America for the most part, coming from Long Island, it's really like you don't have a choice. I mean, you could drive a couple hours to upstate, but unless if you're sitting in a bed and breakfast or something, normally, you're really only able to get decent imaging from a star party. I mean, and the closest one is Cherry Springs, which is 6 hours away. And then you could go north for a little bit, but if there are no star parties in northern New York, or at least any big ones, anything worth noticeable for that, so, which is shocking to me because upstate New York is beautiful and dark. And
what about Stellafane?
Stellafene's Vermont.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, but yeah, there's stuff more north. There's stuff in Maine. There's stuff, there's stuff in other. But the only, there's not. I don't even think there's a star party in New York State. Now that I'm thinking about it, I really don't think there is one. But at least not one of note. You know what I mean? Not what maybe there might be like random ones where, you know, upstate New York has a bunch of clubs up there. Then I'm sure somebody does something. But I've been living in New York just about my entire life, and I don't know any star parties in New York State.
Yeah, well, you guys got Neef, so hey.
That's not a star party. That's like
No, it's not a star party, but hey.
That's like you know, that's like a festival. You know, that's you know, that's what we do. That's where you see all the new toys. You know,
Yeah.
you know, so,
Yeah.
you know, so but
That's Drool Fest.
pretty much. You got to come down to Neef this year. Yeah, come down. We had our own table last year. We're gonna have 2 tables next year.
Now, Malcolm, question for you, because when I was looking through your presentation, you said you have an imaging contest.
That's right.
And
yes.
Is that imaging contest for entries of images that were taken during StarFest, or is that something that was, you know, from previous submissions or other works that other people have done in the past?
Our decision on how to approach that is that there isn't enough time at StarFest to or the conditions aren't right for people to process, and it's a lot to ask for people to do it on site. There's a lot of work that goes involved in judging and so on. So what we have decided is that image submissions are for the calendar year in between StarFest 2022 and 2023. So you can spend all your time because we don't have a lot of good skies to begin with weather and all kinds of things. So we come up with some images in the year in between, and then we set a July deadline for submissions, and then they are judged in July, and then the contest coordinator puts together the show for StarFest in advance.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it was interesting because at Nebraska they did the same thing. It's from Nebraska party to Nebraska party, and they did the same thing. And one of our watchers actually took, who I actually had the pleasure of meeting at the Nebraska Star Party, Jason, and he won 3rd place in the deep sky part of the contest. So they had it set up in different types of photos. They had wide field, deep sky, lunar, that kind of stuff. So
yeah, we do deep sky, solar system, astronomical landscape.
Okay.
And actually, we have a time lapse
nice.
category too. Yes.
Nice.
Cool. You know, I was going to ask you. So you said the Bortle sky is like 3.5 to 4, right?
Yeah. Looking at that light pollution map, it would seem so. Yeah. I could
and
look it up.
Okay.
I should have done that. Should have done that before.
That's
you know, over time. Yeah, but that's probably ballpark 4.
Okay.
That's fine with me. Coming from Bortle 9 or so.
It's better than better than 9, right?
Anything's better than what I have on Long Island. I mean, literally, I go from looking in the west towards New York all the way up to about 47 degrees. The light dome is 47 degrees high for New York City.
Yeah.
So at least that's
I used to live in
judge
Toronto, so I have a kind of an idea of what that's like. But it's still not the same.
It's horrible. It's horrible. And then it's funny because I got to go. I live on Long Island, so you know I got water on both sides of me. So if I'm shooting north, right, I'll go to the north shore of Long Island because I'm looking over the Long Island Sound into Connecticut. But I mean, at least I'm looking over the Sound. If I'm shooting south, I'll go to the South Shore and I'll be looking over the Atlantic Ocean. So, I mean, you know, that's kind of cool thing to do. But I mean, you know, the West is kind of, no matter where you go, is just a complete loss. Anything under 50 degrees is unusable.
What about wide field? Do you ever shoot the Milky Way over the ocean?
It's really, really tough. I mean, you know, I know people that have done it. I have not. But I mean, you know, the light pollution is just, I mean, you could barely naked eye, barely make out a wisp of maybe a cloud by, just literally, if you do it in the south, if I go to the South Shore and I got Sagittarius and Scorpius there, I could probably get a little bit. But it's going to disappear. Wide field, it's going to disappear. Once I get into the Cygnus area, it really kind of starts to fade out. And you'd think it'd just be the exact opposite, because it's kind of like, you're going towards the zenith, so you figured it'd be darker, right? Once you get in there, and the way the Milky Way kind of turns, because it's not really directly overhead, you start getting into the light dome, and it just kind of goes away.
Yeah. So are you
now?
What? I'm sorry.
Are you going to go watch the Perseid somewhere?
What's that?
Are you going to go observe the Perseid meteor shower somewhere on the weekend?
Yeah, the meteor shower I could probably get from the beach where I go on the South Shore.
Yeah.
I did it 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I did it, and I got some cool shots. I took some time-lapse shots and got a whole bunch of meteors going across. It was pretty cool. I got a couple of shots like that, but I'm this Saturday I might be able to do it. I don't know if I'll be able to do it though. I think I have people coming over to my house, and my wife kind of set something up, so I think I'm kind of screwed. But but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Now, have you seen, or what, in your opinion, as we, with astronomy and astrophotography in this past 3 years, what, in your opinion, has been one of the bigger impact devices or technologies that you feel has just wowed you?
That's easy.
Maybe within the past 3 to 5 years.
Easy. That's easy. Russell Croman.
There it is.
There's just there's no question. It's Russell Croman. Like, everything he's brought to market is what could have changed astrophotography as much as that in the past. Nothing has done that.
The guy's just awesome. He's actually we had him as a guest about a year ago. It's about time we get him back on. But his AI stuff, starting off with the Photoshop with Gradient Exterminator and going all the way up to Blur Exterminator, in PixInsight, the plugins. And if you don't know what they are, everybody go get them, because
RC Astro.
RC Astro, go get it, because it's definitely.
I started with Gradient Exterminator, and when he came out with first of all, it took me a while to admit that I needed PixInsight. Okay, and I would have these conversations with Ron, and it would always begin with, "But why do I need an XISF file?" Stupid argument, the worst argument. I mean, I was just stuck in this stupid mindset, but I got over it a few years ago, and PixInsight combined with Russell Croman's plugins is just there's no challenger I can think of.
And you and Eric need to have a conversation of the benefits of using PixInsight, because
I have grown quite a bit. I have grown quite a bit into PixInsight. So it's still my workflow for the most part is still AstroPixel processor, then PixInsight, after some integration and maybe some background extraction within APP or Graxpert, and then everything else is PI.
And that's completely understandable. There's a calibrated image is a calibrated image, right? Like, whatever. And in fact, I mentioned earlier that I thought that AstroPixel processor was great, and I use it for one specific tool, and that's the mosaics. I do a lot of mosaics with my stuff, and the way you do mosaics in PixInsight, I find it to be a bit of a clunky workflow as opposed to what the workflow is in AstroPixel processor. So I can say without a shadow of a doubt that I enjoy the experience of putting mosaics together in AstroPixel processor, but I do all of my pre-processing in PixInsight first. I do the calibration and stuff with WBPP.
Yep,
But it doesn't matter how you get there. You got to master red, green, and blue, and you put them all together, and then now you've got a mosaic. How do you deal with that? So I think AstroPixel processor is the best solution for mosaics. That's my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm just strictly an AP, a PixInsight guy. I've ever since I bought it, I never looked back. And that's just what it is. And then, Ron, if you're listening, Ron, he'd probably kill me if I decided to go another route. Probably, but
because he's invested so much time in you.
So much time. I mean, the guy, between him and Ron and Pete Pruill, I mean, those guys with the PixInsight, and Shawn, I can't disregard Shawn Nielsen also. I mean,
Shawn has been amazing. I don't deal with him personally, but his website got me unstuck so many times.
Oh yeah, I'm still watching his videos for stuff that I've seen 15 times already. I'm still watching some of his stuff. Just have his voice in my head while I'm actually doing one of the processes that he talks about.
And he makes it so understandable.
He really does. He does a great job with it. And he's very, very very thoughtful on how he speaks and how he presents. And that really speaks to his professionalism and his knowledge about PixInsight. So really, really cool.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you another question here, Malcolm, since you are such at a much higher latitude than, being in Canada. Are there, for you personally, is there any type of target that you wish you could get, like maybe a southern hemisphere or something a little bit lower than that 50, maybe 50-degree point, anything like that you just think, man, I just wish I could get out there and grab that image, or that's really one, target that is really something I would really like to go after, but it's not here. I can't go get that here in Canada.
I'm going to have to break it to you gently, okay? And some of my friends know this. Some of my friends know this about me, but I have a telescope in Chile.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so that's not relevant then.
The answer to your question is I do not want to sound like I'm bragging in any way, shape, or form. I'm very fortunate to be in this situation, and I do have the opportunity to shoot the southern sky regularly. So
that's awesome.
That's awesome. Is there a favorite target that you've had that you've shot in southern hemisphere image or target that you've had an opportunity to capture that's maybe one of your favorites?
I would give you a slightly different answer to the question, and I would phrase it. I would give you the answer to the thing that I saw visually that I couldn't see up here, because when you look at certain objects in the southern hemisphere that don't exist up here, like for example, if you look at M13, my first wow moment was Saturn, but my first wow moment with an eyepiece other than a planet was M13. And I looked at M13 and I remember thinking, and I was like, wow, it fills the field of view. Omega Centauri or 47 Tuc are mind-bogglingly bigger than M13. Oh, yeah. And that's just the start, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Tarantula Nebula is so intricate and so detailed. A photograph doesn't really do it justice. You look at the tarantula in a telescope, and you could just hunt through all the dust lanes forever, ever. It's just unbelievable. So my answer would be tarantula is probably number one, and toss up between 47 Tuc and Omega Centauri.
Nice.
That's funny because we had Dr. Christian Sass on Astropalooza. I know you and I spoke about it offline on that 12-hour debacle of a show that we had last year, and we had the privilege of having Dr. Sass from iTelescope on the show as one of our speakers, and he actually donated data for 47
Okay.
Tuck for a giveaway, and we gave
Nice.
that. We gave out, I think it was like 3 hours or so of data, 47 Tuck. 3 hours of data in dark skies like that is really like, like 12 hours from New York. So I mean, it's so it was really nice. He actually showed us a picture of it, a stacked picture of it. It's really unbelievable how big it is and how gold it is. The star color.
Yeah, and it's right beside the I think it's the Small Magellanic Cloud. So if you take a photo of the Small Magellanic Cloud, you can get one if your field of view is wide enough that includes that cluster. And I shouldn't sell short Rho Ophiuchi, which I absolutely adore for its colors.
The colors in that are just unbelievable. The blue, the red, the gold,
it's got it all, right?
It's got everything, and
it's one of my favorite summer targets. It's always been one of my favorite summer targets.
Yeah, unfortunately, it usually sits right in front of my house. So when I'm on the pier at home, I gotta go to the South Shore, to the beach, to go grab that, and probably not going to happen this year. It'll probably happen next year, but I'll get it. No problem. Carol wants to know, where does the Fighting Dragons of Ara set in with your best shots for the Southern Hemisphere? Where do the Fighting Dragons sit for you?
Well, so this is interesting. If it's the one that I'm thinking of, it's like there are these twisting tendrils that come together like fingertips. If I'm correct.
They come around. The dark nebula to come in.
And it's a very it's a beautiful narrowband target, as I recall. Unfortunately, I haven't got the best narrowband filter. So the most of what I shoot is LRGB HA. I'd love to shoot more O3 and S2, but I got terrible halos on my O3 filter. Unfortunately, it's difficult to swap it out. So I tend to avoid shooting narrowband other than HA. But my HA data is always really nice. But that's an excellent target, and it's got that little nebula nearby. It looks like a planetary nebula. Down off to the side, which is another colorful object. It's got a little bit of red and blue in it too. So if you've got a wider view, that's a great suggestion for a beautiful target as well. Yeah.
We got Wayne from Skyshed is hanging out in the chat. He's lurking around there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's lurking around in there. What's up, Wayne?
Yeah, he was saying that you had Malcom.
Don't forget me when I'm gone, Wayne.
Yeah.
You got him. I got him on that at Astropalooza when he was on. I said, Wayne, it's time to go, but we won't forget you when you're gone. We'll catch you later. and he's like, you got me.
Yeah.
Really, really great guy to have on. And it was just at the time where he was just coming out with the announcement
Skyshed Pod S.
Skyshed Pod S. Yeah. So it's been almost.
Well, Wayne knows this. In my backyard here in just outside of Kingston, I have a Skyshed Pod.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great product. Love the Skyshed Pod. I can't tell you. You know what? If for a backyard piece of equipment, the pod is the best thing I've ever owned, and it allows me to leave everything out there in any weather. We've gone through blizzards, almost hurricanes, weather that you wouldn't believe, and it's just I leave everything out there. I don't have to worry about it, and I could never do that without it, right? Like I'd have to take my telescope down, put it in the garage, all this other, the whole routine, right? Like it just enables you to enjoy the hobby so much more. So it's one of those game changers. You talk about game changers. I talked about Kicks in Sight. Skyshed Pod is a game changer in that same way from an equipment standpoint.
I
would totally agree with you there.
I know TJ Conley, who lives in upstate New York, which is notorious for the snow that's there.
Yeah, snow belt.
He says nothing. He's a friend of mine, but he says nothing but good things about the Skyshed Pod that he has, and he's so happy to have one too. And if I had the backyard to put it, and my wife wouldn't want to divorce me if I put it in the backyard, I'd put it back there. And Wayne, when I move, you're the first person I'm calling, Wayne. So don't think I forgot.
And you'll get the new one with the slit and the motors and all that.
Oh yeah, I'm going totally motorized. Listen, I am Mr. Automation. That's as long as it works, you know what I mean? And I know his stuff works. And
it does, it just works.
Yeah. So I mean, I bought the Eagle. I have a Pier. I went out and I bought the Alto and the Giotto, so I could take flats every night and it'll do it itself. So
nice.
So I mean, I got all this wonderful stuff, and unfortunately, a customer called me up yesterday and said I need a 750 millimeter dovetail, and so I said, I have one, but I'm using it on my AP scope. I was like, all right, I'll sell it to you because I'm going to StarFest anyway, so I'll have a new one by the time I get back. And so now it's on its way to California.
Nice.
Oh, no way. We're about to announce Open Dome plus Alexa. Wow.
Open the dome, please. No.
Open the dome, please.
Open the pod bay door, Alexa. That's what it's got.
Open
the pod bay door, Alexa. Come on.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
You know what?
Yeah.
I did try that once, and you know what she said? She said, "I'm sorry, I can't do that, Dave."
Really?
I swear to you, it said that to me.
That's classic. Well, I'm gonna try it when I get off here. I'm gonna try it myself.
Yeah, it's like a random kind of thing. It doesn't happen all the time. I tried it right after that, and then it said, "No, I'm sorry, I don't understand." And every once in a while, it'll do something funky. Remember that little crazy like Alexa laugh that was going on, the creepy laugh?
Oh yeah, the really creepy one.
Laugh. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, you do.
No.
So one thing you said about StarFest was, and I was thinking about actually taking my drone up there to take a picture of the field, and you guys frown upon that, I guess, up there, huh? Most people do.
Well, I mean, like if everybody's doing it, one of them's going to fall from the sky and land on someone's telescope on out of control, and that's a fear that we've discussed. We have 20 or 30 active members in the committee that run the thing, and we took a vote and we said, look, it's a star party, so let's do star party things.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I took a picture with my drone at Nebraska.
Yeah.
And and they were okay with it. Cherry Springs, you can't do it. It's a state park. They won't allow you to do it. So some places.
Yeah, it depends on the size of your drone as well, right? Because then there are aviation rules depending on whether it's a certain weight and it's a certain.
Yep. And I don't know what the rules are in Canada, but I know I'm FCC. I'm registered with the FCC, but it's still a little drone. Right. It's a small drone. It's like
Yeah. Well, the way the distinction I think in Canada is if it's over a certain weight, then the drone has to have an event license or something like that. And we just, rather than trying to figure out whether it meets the criteria or not, we just think it's simpler. We try to keep it simple.
That's fine. I was just gonna do one for the show and just take a video and whatever.
But we have this guy who has the plane, right? So every once in a while we get an aerial shot like I showed you. And
that's a beautiful shot. That really is nice. He really got some. I wonder who's.
Yeah, you imagine this guy. He's flying his plane. I think it's like a stick, and he's got his DSLR off the side, and how he got a still stable in focus shot, I don't know.
Nah, I couldn't even tell you. That's crazy.
Nice.
Wayne said he's working on his StarFest presentation while he's watching us, so he's almost done.
Good man.
Nice.
Skydive. Yeah, I'm not skydiving anywhere. I'm sorry. That's yeah. That'd be kind of cool though. I could follow. You know what? I could skydive with the drone, and have the drone follow me down.
You know, I've seen videos of guys that like have a GoPro on a stick.
Yep.
And they'll jump off a bridge, and then someone throws the stick behind them, so they get a perspective of them falling. I mean, you could do the same thing out of a plane, right? You could just throw the stick right behind you.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know, I'm really excited to go up to StarFest. So I really am. You know, it's gonna be a new experience, and you know, and it's great because you know I'm not going up there alone. I'm going up there to meet people that I've known, and I've gotten, you know, Eric and I have gotten a lot of friendships through this channel.
Yeah, for sure.
People all over the world, going all the way. I think furthest out probably is Simon Lewis out in New Zealand.
Yeah, down in New Zealand. Yeah,
and Ivo Stoyanov over in Belgium, you know, from APT. You know, it's you know, all these people. So it's cool that I'm going to be seeing some of my friends from the Great White North and hanging out with them. You know, it's going to be a lot of fun again.
And trust me, it flows both ways, because in my capacity as a coordinator for the Star Party, I meet people like yourselves and Fred Espinek, and you know what I mean, like people all across all different branches of the hobby, and it's just amazing, and to build relationships for a long time, and it's really fun. It's good to be a part of.
Yeah, it really is. And you know what, and for the most part, most of the people, and somebody called it a hobby in the chat. I forget who it was. I think it was Charity. But you know, we in this YouTube channel, we kind of frown on calling it a hobby, because it's not a hobby. It really isn't. You know, this is an obsessive lifestyle change. And,
yeah.
You know, you are sitting there.
I say hobby, but it's weak. It's a weak word. It's not the right word.
Yeah, it's like calling people a Trekkie. You know, it's like, you're not a Trekkie. It's a Trekker. You know, but you know, it's definitely you know, you're up all night if you're taking your telescope out and polar aligning and doing all your stuff, and then when you're done, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, you drag down the stuff, drive an hour home, and then crash all day while everyone else is working. So I mean, it's definitely a different way to kind of, you know, get your pleasure in, because it's completely opposite of what many people do.
And there are 500 people or more, probably more, but we'll just say that for now. And they're all out there at the same time doing what you're doing. And so there's this beautiful sort of background of people chatting, and there's red lights bouncing around.
Yep.
And because of the time of year, there's going to be bright meteors. And so all across the park, if a bright meteor goes, there will be a collective gasp, and everybody reacts all at once. And it's so cool.
Yeah, and that's usually happens exactly the time when I'm looking at one of my images on the computer, and you just hear, "Did you see that?" No,
or it happened behind you, right? Like, I'm always looking the wrong way when those things happen.
I'm telling you, it's. But you know what? When going to it, if you ever have the opportunity to go to even, you know, a darker sky than what you're used to, do it, because not only, you know, not only the experience is just amazing, because you're seeing things naked eye that you probably never saw before, but to your point, Malcolm, that the camaraderie that you get of people doing all the same activity that you're doing, and all talking about the same thing. Hey, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? What are you doing? What's this? You know, what's this new toy? I hear this computer talking over here. What is it doing? You know, people are very friendly, and I don't think in my entire time of going to any star party, even in the rudest areas of New York, you know, nobody said, "Go away, I'm too busy to show you what I'm looking at."
Well, that's an excellent thing to point out to people that maybe haven't been to StarFest or to a star party before. Don't be shy, right? When it gets dark, start walking around. If you see a telescope and someone's looking at something, quietly walk up to him and ask if he'd let you take a look in that telescope. 99.999% of the time, the guy's going to say, absolutely. Please have a look in my telescope. I'd love to share the view with you. And that's a great way for people who are trying to understand, you may not be into astrophotography. You may not be even own your own telescope. Maybe all you own is some binoculars or something like that, or you want to watch the falling stars. That's all good, but we're happy to share the views, and it's about the camaraderie and the community.
Yeah, it really is. And if you are, if you are the shy type and you don't, you don't like to get into people's faces, you don't have to worry about it, because you'll never know what they look like, because it's going to be
can't see them.
You can't see them. So not only that, but on the other flip side of the coin, go join your local astronomy club to get to know some people in the area of where you're going to be, because then that will help with the whole nervous kind of thing. Maybe I just don't like, maybe I'm just not a friendly person and I don't like to meet new people and I just want to do my own thing, and that's okay. But the more people the more, it's not one thing that really almost threw me off on astronomy and astrophotography. There was nobody to talk to, nobody to ask, nobody. You didn't know who to go to. There was no, at that time, there was no YouTube. There was no internet. I forget about YouTube, internet. There was no internet. You were AOL 3.0. So I mean, these kind of things, the opportunity we have and the knowledge that we have to our advantage is amazing. But if you could get there and you could get in front of your local astronomy club and just go to a meeting and meet some people, it could definitely make your either visual or astrophotography journey a lot less stressful. You could definitely do that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Chip, let's see. You got some good stuff in the chat here. Bob, how's it going? Newman, what's up? Mike Wise on there. George Lutch. A lot of people on there. So yeah. So
how often have you had the opportunity, well, at StarFest at least, has the aurora, become visible, during StarFest? Has it? Yeah. I'm kind of curious about that.
I would go. So this is going to be a broad generalization based on memory alone, not statistics that I have handy. But I would say 20% of so let's say over 40. That's like maybe 7 or 8 of the StarFests have had an aurora event while it was on. That's a pretty good, I think, guess. Let's see. We went 2019 and then we skipped 2021, and so we're at solar maximum ish period right now. This would be a higher likelihood StarFest, I think, than most. I don't know what the projections are, but
you might have an opportunity there, Dan.
Yeah, there you go.
Have you seen the aurora, Dan?
I have not. I've just there's been a couple of chances where the CMEs were strong enough that have hit Long Island, and usually what happens on Long Island is it's cloudy when it happens. So
yeah, it's same here.
It's just horrible. So there are 2 things I've been trying to get for about 20 years. One is, the Northern Lights from Long Island. That's the first one. The second one is green flash, and those are the 2 things I've been trying to get for years. I actually went on a boat. I woke up every morning and it was on my balcony every night, at least when the sun was on that side, on the boat. And I took my camera out and tried to get the green flash. Never got it. My friend Bill Bogardus, God bless him, he passed away a couple years ago. He was a master observer for the Astronomical League, a former Astronomical League secretary, and a really good friend of mine. He was searching for green flash for 45 years. And finally, about 2 years before he passed, he was able to get it from like the Chilean kind of. He used to go to Chile all the time, and he got it. He got it from wherever he was in South America, and he got it from down there. So I was like, hey,
good for him.
You know, that's great. You know, for those of you who don't know who green flash is, go look at it. It's pretty cool. You won't even believe what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna tell you what it is. Just go look it up.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a trophy shot if you get it. For sure.
Yeah. And it's not like the kind of thing that you can plan either. You just gotta persevere and do it and do it and do it. And do it and do
you can
it.
think the conditions support it happening, and it doesn't, and you can think it doesn't support it, and it does.
Yep.
It's just you got to try. Just try until you get it.
Yep. And you know, just keep on trying.
That is it.
So I've been doing a poll for the past, I guess about 45 minutes, I guess.
Yeah.
40 minutes. So we got 34 votes, and the question was, who has ever been to a star party? And only about 62% of the people that are watching that have answered has been to a star party so far. So out of 34 votes, about 20 people.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. How does that surprise you?
No, not really.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting.
You know, it's just and we did another poll. What was it? That was pretty wild. But then when we did what do you use for acquisition? What computer program or device do you use for acquisition? And it was like Nina, SGP, ASI Air, or other. And almost 70% of the people out there use the ASI Air.
Now, like, that's interesting because, you know, as an older guy, I remember when Maxim DL and CCD Commander and all that stuff was the cat's meow, right? Like, that was the thing to have. And what happened? They don't even get a mention.
No, Maxim DL kind of, it's still out there. People still use it. And
I mean, I've still got it on my computer, but I'm not using it.
I have
hardly
Maxim
ever.
4. I bought Maxim 4 when it came out, and I still have the book and everything, the disc, the CD, everything. I still have it. And, you know, there's just so many things that's come out that is maybe not as functional as far as because Maxim DL did everything. It was from acquisition to finished product. I mean, that was the allure of Maxim DL, was a one-stop shopping for the whole thing. And that's why 20 years ago it was like $450. You know?
Well, yeah, but you needed something like CCD Commander to tell it to do X, Y, and Z, right? So you couldn't just buy Maxim, but you can buy SGP now or Nina for free or whatever. All the way through, you get everything. But when you buy Maxim, you still have to stay up at night to tell it what to do, unless you go and get CCD Commander, and you need to be able to write some lines of code, I think, in that, don't you?
Yeah, you got to do that, or I don't know if you could use Voyager. I think you could use Voyager with Maxim as well. So you got to have some sort of automated sequencing program in order to kind of let Maxim be fully automated. Now, that's where, you know, Nina and, well, firstly SGP, then Nina kind of took the market share out of everything, because it's just, it was just, you know, you got other programs now, you know, starting when I started doing image processing. I think the first program that I bought was, I think it was Images Plus, if I remember right. You know, slowly progressed through, you know, Maxim and other programs to all the way up to PixInsight. And you know, it's just that Nina with their advanced sequencer and SGP with their sequencer You literally press play or go, and it'll just acquire, do flats. It'll do everything for you.
Yeah. No, you just literally run sequence and go to bed and wake up in the morning and turn off your telescope.
And hope it didn't rain.
And yes.
Yeah.
Make sure you got the rain alarm on full blast, you know? So.
Yeah. Be absolutely sure before you go to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, Maxim does a lot of stuff now. So Pamela's saying that Maxim does a lot of stuff too. Maybe that's Maxim 6. Again, I had Maxim 4. I'm dating myself.
Yeah, I got Maxim 6 as well. For the longest time, as I was using SGP, I often used Maxim's planetarium, which might surprise you because it's not a typical planetarium. It's a little window and it's a little part of the sky. But I was so used to using Maxim earlier on in my early days that I still clung to that last piece of use in it. But now I use Carte du Ciel as my planetarium and SGP.
Yeah, I actually I've been using Stellarium for mine. With Nina, so it's pretty cool.
Let's see. Some were mentioning that they were using Norm. I'll stick with SkyX, but he's about to buy Voyager. It's very good. Yeah. Voyager, I know. Does Pete use SkyX or does he use Voyager?
No, he uses the SkyX with Voyager.
With Voyager, yeah. Okay.
Voyager.
So the SkyX has a image acquisition plugin, right?
They do, yeah.
So would Voyager tell SkyX to take pictures?
So the SkyX Professional will do everything. It'll do everything. It'll do, but the Voyager program will actually run the profile and sequence for it. It's kind of weird. I'm not 100% versed on it. We had who is it on from Voyager? Who is the guest that we had for Voyager software? I forgot his name, but he was on. He was explaining it to us. If you want, you can look back on the YouTube channel for a prior show and look for Voyager. And he did a whole walkthrough about it. And it seemed to me there's a lot more technical know-how on how to use Voyager than you got to know. You got to be more than just a regular computer user to use Voyager.
Yeah.
Wayne,
just a regular.
Yeah, Wayne just posted. Yeah, he was mentioning a tip. Wayne from SkyShed tip: bring night vision, and you'll be amazed at all the people standing around in groups.
Oh, interesting, eh?
Can't see without it.
Huh?
Yeah.
Bring night vision.
Yeah, that would be kind of a cool thing to look through. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be really interesting.
I'm trying to find.
Honestly, there would be groups all over the place, individuals, you name it, dogs.
Yeah, that would be pretty wild. Yeah, well, yeah, we can definitely. Yeah. So Dan, go get some night vision goggles.
Yeah. That's okay. Right. I got other things I need to spend my money on.
Yeah, Wayne says it's a whole different experience.
I'll just knock Wayne on the back of the head and take his.
It was Wayne's idea. Wayne has to bring it.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'm putting the Discord. Somebody was asking for the Discord link. There's the Discord link.
Yes, yeah. So if we were talking. Yeah, Dan, you and I mentioned this to you like an idea, and I'll throw it out to the viewer membership. As far as with our website, AstroWorldWeb.com, I'm bouncing around. I've been bouncing around the idea of maybe having a critique page added to it, so you can drop in images if you like those critiqued, and maybe we can even, if you use PixInsight, maybe in a separate Google folder, drop in your project or something like that, if you're interested, or if you wouldn't mind. And then that way, myself or Dan or others, they could take a look at that, and then they can help, if they have any tips or anything like that, can happen to Pix Insight and show you a few things or anything like that, or just do some general critiquing. So yeah, we're going to look into that. I think it'd be kind of cool. So what do you guys think as far as in the viewer membership? What are your thoughts on something like that? I'd like to hear that. That would be kind of fun, to have a nice little critique spot, and post, everybody, people can post their pictures and get thoughts and get feedback, because you can share maybe within the comment section and stuff like that. So.
That'd be cool. Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually setting up the AstroWorld. We got 27 people on the AstroWorld giveaway.
Okay, so, and let's see, I'm trying to see if there are, a few more things here regarding StarFest and everything. And, I just, Star parties, now that I've been really into astronomy and astrophotography now for, these past few years, it's like, it's one of these things. It's almost like, when I was in the Navy, when sailors, when they crossed the equator, you went through a rite of passage. It's called the shellback initiation. And and I went through that. You had to go through this. I think going through a star party is almost, maybe you should maybe consider that in a way, a rite of passage, in being in, the amateur astronomy world and, or astrophotography, getting it, going to your first star party or things like that. It's even kind of cool if certain star parties, hey, if you have any newbies out there, and you go to initiations.
Yes, just
it's kind of funny.
Just don't go see Rocky Horror Picture Show on your first time. Okay, just don't do that. But I won't say what happens there. If you want to know, I'll tell you online.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe offline.
But no, I agree. That definitely is one of the things. If you're really into astrophotography, you really got to go to a, unless if you live in, like Mark Ellis, you live in the Arizona desert, or you're in a Bortle 2 sky that you just live there. I mean, that's Savannah. When I lived in the suburb of Savannah, I lived in Pooler, Georgia. And back then, that little town was a Bortle 4 in itself. And why go anywhere? What am I going to drive an hour and a half to get a Bortle 3? I got a Bortle 4 in my backyard. I don't have to go anywhere, So, you'd be surprised. Now, even then, when I was living down there, I had the opportunity to go to Deer Lick Astronomy Village down in Georgia. And let me tell you something. That was an amazing experience as far as star parties go. You want to see something that has everything. I mean, it's got running water. It's got barracks. It's got beds. It's got it's amazing. What they did with this place. It is like just like a big hotel for astrophotographers. And, it's really kind of incredible. If you have a chance to go to Deer Lick Astronomy Village in Georgia, go get it. It's where they hold the Peach State Stargaze. That's where they hold it.
Wow.
Okay. Nice.
I went to, they have an advanced observing program at Kitt Peak.
Wow.
In Arizona.
Yep.
And a friend of mine and I went down for 2 nights, and we got to use the amateur equipment, I believe that is owned by I don't know who it is. I guess it's the University of Arizona or who owns the Kitt Peak Visitor Center and all that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But couple of nights on the mountain down there using a nice, I think it was like a 12-inch LX200 or something like that, and some other stuff. It was when I was first getting into astrophotography, and we were really sort of looking for a way to get find a solution to the light pollution that we were dealing with, and we thought, well, let's go to Arizona. And wow, what an experience that was.
Absolutely.
Wow. Nice.
I can imagine. I have never been there. I was supposed to go down to let's see, I think next year, I think we're looking at, and Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we're looking at making a little AstroWorld Star Party trip to Okie-Tex. Which is it's in Oklahoma. It's right in the panhandle of Oklahoma. But for the most part, as far as Central is concerned, it's literally in the center of the country, pretty much, a little south. But whoever could go, and then that's it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to try and set that up, and we'll do we're gonna have to do a page for that, for a sign up list and stuff like that. So.
I have a friend, David Cotterill is a friend of mine from the area up here. I don't know if the name rings a bell with you, but he goes to Okie-Tex on a fairly regular basis from up here.
That's awesome. I mean, Okie-Tex is supposed to be some of the best skies as far as Star Party in the U.S., as opposed to, let's see, Winter Star Party is supposed to be very, very good down at the Florida Keys.
What about Grand Canyon Star Party?
Well, that's funny you said that, because somebody in the chat just said I went to the Grand Canyon Star Party and wasn't impressed.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I can't.
Well, I guess, maybe it was because, if you add on to that comment, and that's one thing I was going to ask you, Malcolm, is have you, because you've done both, visual as well as, imaging and things like that. And I can't say, for myself as far as visual, because I've been more into imaging, but do you see this visual versus imaging, competition, or, locking horns, everyone, on a way, because one of like visual observer. People made it a downer or what have you. I mean,
I do see the back and forth, and it's always humorous, right? Like there's never anything malicious, anything serious about it. And and like, so there's people in my club who I am constantly teasing about, they're doing visual, and they're teasing me about doing you're just an astrophotographer, you don't know what things really look like, or that kind of fun and shenanigans, but it's all in good fun. Yeah, it happens. It's everywhere. It's always going to be a part of it, I think.
Yeah, it's funny, and some of these guys that I'm talking about, and you guys in the chat and stuff like that, I know there's at least one of you in there that is guilty of this with me. They, for years, 20, 25 years, and I started doing astrophotography with the 35 millimeter Minolta Maxim camera and a Pentax K1000. So I've been doing imaging for quite some time, and for the longest time, people would call it to me, "How could you do that? You're losing it. You're not getting any of the experience. You're not seeing it. You're not really seeing it. All you're doing is manipulating light and blah blah blah." And all this guy for years and years and years and years, and all of a sudden, things start changing. Cameras get better. They get cooled. Yeah. CMOS comes out. ASIR comes out. And then guess what happens? The same people that were yapping at me for 20 somewhat years about how much of a bad astronomer I am is now astrophotographers, all of them. They don't even do visual. They sold all their eyepieces.
It's funny, hey?
It's funny. But, yep. It's you know what? Listen, it doesn't matter what type of way you get your imaging or observing. It doesn't really matter. Just as long as you get something out of it, don't worry about what anybody else says. Just do your
100%. Yep. Yep. No, we all enjoy the same thing in our own unique ways, and that's Absolutely. Really,
Absolutely. So, Well, Senthil, I don't know if you should go yet because we're getting ready to give away a $50 gift certificate for AstroWorld Telescopes. So we're gonna be doing that in about 5 minutes, and then we'll kind of we'll call it a night because I've been working all day. I'm sure you guys have to too. So even though I don't know, you're in Eastern, right, Malcolm? It's 10:30 over there, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So Eric's the only one that's an hour behind anybody. So
Yeah, I'm in Central.
He can still go downstairs or upstairs and eat dinner. So
yeah.
Yep. I mean, everyone's just commenting in there, but so Malcolm, I mean, thank you so much for coming around and hanging out with us, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in I guess is it a week or so?
1 week.
Yeah, I think I'll be there. Let's see. Like I said, I'm driving up Wednesday. Thursday, I'll be there with Ron Breacher and setting up our gear, I guess, on Thursday.
That sounds great. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, so it's going to be a great event.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we haven't spoke about the elephant in the room about Canada. Smoke. Is it going to be okay?
Well, I can say that the Quebec fires seem to have been producing almost nothing compared to what was maybe a month or 6 weeks ago. So on the Quebec end of things, I think we're way in better shape. On the BC fires and even Ontario, the BC fire smoke tends to be higher in the atmosphere and more diffuse, I suppose, or okay. Not as we don't get that same ground level smoke that the Quebec ones gave us. So we're going to be better off, but we don't know because it's all about the jet stream.
Yep, that is.
Where is the jet stream? So the jet stream's carrying the smoke from BC wherever it carries it. If it's clear, it's clear, and if it's not, well, then I'm betting Ron will bring his guitar and there'll be some jam sessions and that's the other thing about star parties, right? Is that if it's cloudy, there's always some stuff going on that's fun to do, and a bunch of guys getting together jamming is a pretty common thing at star parties for sure.
Yep, and I think he's got an acoustic bass that I can borrow, so I think that's because I play bass.
Oh yeah,
so
I'm a bass player too.
Oh yeah, you're probably better than me, but I mean, if you listen to the music in the beginning of the show, that those are both my bands that from the 90s and early 2000s, because I didn't want
really nice. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want any copyright strikes, so I just use music that they never heard of. So
beautiful.
Yeah, so
great.
Yeah, bass players. There you go. I forgot we got Wayne. Wayne's in the chat too. He's like,
and Wayne, of course. Right. Imagine that we were just mentioned in the same breath as Wayne.
Exactly. We're all bass players, man.
Wayne's eyeballs are rolling to the back of his head as we speak.
Yeah, but Wayne had the killer long hair mullet going. That was kind of cool.
Oh yeah, yeah, he had the
look. All right, so why don't we do the giveaway real quick? And then we'll call it an evening, I guess, fellas. How does that sound?
Sure. It sounds fun.
All right.
Sure.
So let me we're gonna do the Shawn Nielsen, Wheel of Fortune here. And let's see if I could share my screen here a little bit. And good play. There we go. And let me get layers. Let's see. I gotta put Mr. Malcom in the layer here. Give me a second. And
all right. Am I eligible for this?
What?
Am I eligible for this?
Not tonight.
Oh, okay.
If you want, you can sign
up. I wasn't expecting to be. I just thought, wow.
Yeah, listen, we have so many people that have signed up. People's names include Shawn Nielsen, Amy Astro, a couple other people that are in some of the. They haven't won yet, but I mean, But this is a $50 gift certificate to AstroWorld Telescopes. That's our channel store where you could get things from Skywatcher, Altair Astro, Player One cameras, so on and so forth. Go check us out at AstroWorldTelescopes.com, and it's going right across the bottom right there. But
Right
so
on.
this is for a free $50 gift certificate. Here we go, rock and roll. And the winner is JP, Jason Blanco. So JP, I'll send you a gift card for $50 tomorrow, so you could go and spend some money at the store. So congrats to Jason. It's funny, like in the other ones, I could read the names on this one. So awesome. So Jason, I'll send you an email, and you'll get your $50 gift certificate. So congratulations. Awesome. So yeah, so StarFest in a little bit more than a week, and it's going to be a nice little drive again. Drive through Buffalo. Hopefully they don't stop me again for carrying beer across the border. But yeah, it was funny on the way back.
Just declare everything, and they'll let you through.
Oh yeah, no, on the way back, because I went all over Toronto. Went all over Toronto. I'm a big Rush fan. I'm a huge Rush fan.
Oh no, me too.
Oh, I listen.
You guys are gonna have a blast. You guys are gonna have a blast.
So
we are going to talk.
How big of a Rush fan that I was. So one of the other reasons why I went up to Toronto was that I had tickets for the Neil Peart A Night with Neil, and unfortunately after Neil passed, they were going to do a tribute at Lakeside Park, and unfortunately COVID came and hit, and it was postponed like 5 times. So finally they had it in St. Catharines, and I was able to go there and spend the night up there. It was basically a fundraiser for brain cancer, and which is what he eventually passed from. And and it was really, really cool. I went to Lakeside Park. I went to the Neil Pavilion. I did all this kind of stuff. But I searched all over, like 6 or 7 different liquor stores for Rush lager. Rush beer.
Yeah.
And I finally found that, and I'm going to screw it up. It's like LCBQ or something like that. LCBO. I walked all the way up into downtown Toronto to this place. It was like literally like 3 miles one way, 3 miles back to get this beer. And I went there, I got the beer, and then I also found a couple of pints of Iron Maiden beer. And so I got that too. So I still have some of the beer left, the Canadian Rush lager, along with one more can of Iron Maiden lager, which is really good too. So pretty
Very
cool
nice
stuff.
story.
Yeah, so big Rush.
My mother-in-law lives in St. Catharines. I went to school for 5 years in St. Catharines. I know St. Catharines intimately. Been to the pavilion to pay respects, and Port Dalhousie is a beautiful spot. So yeah, I know all that well, and obviously as a Rush fan, like I've seen them many times. So
yeah, it was cool. It was cool going to Lakeside Park, and while I'm walking, I'm saying the lyrics, and
you can picture the willows in the breeze, right? Like it's just there they are.
It's crazy, but I've seen Rush live ever since Power Windows, I think, all the way straight through every single tour. So at least 3 times per tour. I must have seen him almost 100 times. Favorite band ever. But anyway, well, it's 10:45. I mean, we usually do a final thoughts kind of run through. So Malcolm will save you for last since you're the guest of honor. And Eric, final thought for tonight.
Yeah, no, it's Malcolm. Thank you for joining us and sharing this information, on StarFest. Dan, I know you're gonna have a blast there. So you guys talking about Rush and
even
all
if
the
it's
guys
cloudy,
there,
I swear I'm gonna bring some nice Irish whiskey, and it'll all be fine.
There you go. But no, again, thanks you everybody for joining us. Really appreciate that. And yeah, again, Malcolm, thank you for sharing, the information on StarFest. Really appreciate you joining. I hope you can come back again and hang out with us again in the future.
Awesome. Yeah. So Malcolm, go right ahead.
Well, thanks, guys. I mean, it's great meeting you. I've really enjoyed the conversation and the experience. It's my first experience of this nature, and I mean, I think with people out there have never been to a star party, it's just a wonderful experience. I highly recommend it. StarFest is around the corner next week. You're absolutely all welcome to come up to StarFest if that's part of what you can do. If not, as discussed, lots of other star parties that might be maybe more suitable for your timing, for your location, whatever. But definitely a star party for people in the community of amateur astronomy. It is a wonderful experience, and I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I can't echo that enough. I mean, the star parties and the camaraderie you get, whether rain or shine, you get to see some stuff that you may not, you'll walk into a nice astrophysics Mach 2 with the AP130 on it, or some plane wave,
or a 1 meter reflector with a 14-foot mirror.
Yeah, I mean, crazy.
Yeah.
The things that you see. I mean, if it's clear, I looked in a star party. It just happened to be a friend of mine's scope out of my first 30-inch telescope. It was a 30-inch obsession scope that he had, and it was just, I was looking at this little planetary nebula. It took him like 5 times to point it out to me, because it was I thought it was a star, but it's this little fuzzy planetary. You could tell it wasn't a star because it was nice and fuzzy around it, but it was like something like 16th magnitude planetaries. I'm like, you're looking at it visually. It's amazing, when you're able to see these certain things, ARP galaxies, things you wouldn't be normally seeing in regular viewing conditions. Bortle 5+, you're not going to be able to see that visually in most cases. But it's really, really not only the dark skies, but just the experience itself is super amazing. And if you have a chance, and if you're in the area, or you have a week vacation, come and hang out with us at StarFest next week, and it's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be a really good time. So come on and hang out with us. So that being said, it's about that. And just so you know, Malcolm, if you once we click out of this program will stay on. If you want to sit and chat and whatever, or if you want to go, that's fine too. But this will stay open. So but everybody, have a good night. Thanks for everybody. Thanks for all the comments. DIY NASA, congratulations. Welcome to the Discord channel. Bob, Charity, Norm, Tom, all you guys. Thank you so much for being in the chat and being into the conversation. So thanks so much, everybody. Have a good night, and we'll see you Friday night for our next show. We will still be having a show Friday. And depending on if Eric gets his computer running, we might have one next Wednesday.
We may have one next week.
If not, we'll let you know, because I will be in I don't know what's the Wi-Fi situation out there, by the way, in StarFest. Is there any Wi-Fi out there or no?
No, we have a Wi-Fi set up, but it's for the main tent, primarily for presenters and for the club to do club business. So but there is cell signal out there, and if you don't mind using you're going to be in a foreign country anyway, so you're probably already.
Yep.
Do you have a plan that charges you like $10 a day or something like that?
Yeah, it's a roaming plan, but I mean, that's fine. I mean,
so if you've got that, then it doesn't really matter how much data you use, right? Like it's a flat rate of $10 or whatever, $15.
Yeah. And that's fine. So maybe we'll do a little live kind of thing on YouTube from Ontario, so in Canada. So
awesome.
But never know. Or else, I've still got to get it going. So hey,
we got to get it going.
We got to coordinate.
Got to get it going. Awesome.
For sure.
All right, everybody. Have a good night. We'll see you Friday night. And Malcolm, thank you again for coming and hanging out with us. Appreciate all the time, and
thank you
so much. All right, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care. See you Friday. And remember, as always, to keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. And we'll see you Friday night. Have a good night, everybody.
See you Friday, everybody.